Hey everybody, Mrs. Logus again. I'm going to be doing problems 20 through 24 on this last part of the chapter 2 to 3 review packet. Let's do it. So number 20, both of these are called crook problems. And the reason they're called crook problems is because there is a crook in the transversal or a bend in the transversal. And whenever there is a bend, we put a dot here and we say we can draw a line that is parallel to the two lines that are already here and goes through this point. The reason we need to do that is because then we create two separate transversals. We create a transversal here, and then we also create a different transversal here. And so we use that so that we can view things separately. So for instance, if I looked at the top of this angle, this one here is 140, and my goal is to figure out what the entirety of angle X is. We cannot assume that this is bisected, but what we can do is say that these two angles here are same side interior angles because of these parallel lines in this transversal, and same side interior are supplementary angles. So that means they add up to 180, or that's 40 degrees. Now, we can't say this is 40. That's incorrect. We don't know that. But what we do know is that this 47 down here and this angle up here are alternate interior angles, and those are congruent to each other. So this angle is 47 as well. So that means that the entirety of angle X, this entire thing, is the 40 degrees plus the 47 degrees, or 87 total degrees. Same process with the second problem here. We have two crooks in the problem, which means that I can draw two sets of parallel lines that goes through each point individually. So that means I create 4 parallel lines, and I create 1, 2, 3 separate transversals. So my goal is to find what this entire X angle is, but I did split it into 2 parts, not necessarily in half. So I could maybe start at the top. This angle here is 50 degrees. If this angle is 50, this angle is alternate interior with it, and that those are congruent. The reason these are alternate interior is the purple is the transversal and we're on different sides. So it means that this angle, the top part of 110, is 50 degrees. If I'd like to find the rest of this angle, we would do 110 minus 50 and get that this is 60 degrees. Then I'm going to view these two lines as the parallel ones. I'm going to view this as the transversal. This angle and this angle are again alternate interior angles, and they're congruent. So this is 60 degrees as well. Lastly, I cannot assume this is 60, but what I can do is say that this angle 140 and this angle are same side interior angles, so they are supplementary. So it means that this is 40 degrees, or they add up to be 180. So it means that this entire angle X is 60 degrees plus 40 degrees, or 100 degrees. Now time for some mixed review questions from chapter 1. Points A and D trisect BC. This word means that these 2 points are doing the work and create 3 equal segments. AD is 3x and BC is 3x squared. Find the length of AC. In order to find AC, we need to find x first, and we need to come up with an equation based on what we see. Well, I know because these 3 segments are congruent that this is also 3x and this is also 3x. So it means that all 3x's added together is equal to the whole of 3x squared. Or in other words, AB plus AD plus DC equals BC. So that is 9x equals 3x squared. As soon as I see a problem that has a squared, it makes me think that I'm going to have to factor. So if I need to factor, it needs to be equal to 0. So I'm going to move my 9x over here. 0 equals 3x squared minus 9x. And I'm going to flip that around just so the 0 is on the right side there. I notice that if I'm graphing, the first thing I want to consider is a greatest common factor. So I'm going to take out 3 and x, and I'm left with x minus 3 equals 0. So, as of now, I have two different possible answers for x. I could set 3x equal to 0 from this part and x minus 3 equal to 0. So x either could be 0 or 3. So, the issue, though, is if I take 0 and I try to plug that in to any of my segments, I would create 3 segment lengths of 0. And that's not possible. We can't have a segment that's 0 inches or centimeters long. So that means that that answer is out, and the 3 is the only one that works. Notice that 3 is an answer in my multiple choice, but I'm not trying to find x. I'm trying to find the length of AC. So AC in this problem is the 3x plus the 3x or 6x. And now I can take that 3, plug it in, so I get that AC is 18 units. So my answer is D. So the key for this problem was greatest common factor. 22, the midpoint of CD is -1, -4. So I'm going to graph that, and I'm going to call that M for midpoint. One endpoint is at 5, -6. And I'm going to call that C. So that means I have a segment that looks like this. And the M isn't the endpoint, but that's the midpoint right here. So what I need to do is use slope logic. It looks like I am going down 1, 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So down 2 over 6. So that means I need to go up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I do, I connect to get the rest of my segment. Let me actually go back and try it again. I feel like I'm not being neat enough. Let me be neater. So we have -1, -4 is the midpoint, and then 5, -6 right here is C. Okay. So I think same as before. We're going down 2, right 6. So then I have to go up 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's the other endpoint using slopes, and that is the coordinate -7, -2. So my answer is also D for number 22. You could do this problem algebraic as well, but I feel like using slopes is the fastest way to get my other endpoint. Number 23. Okay, so we have a supplement complement problem. Supplement is abbreviated 180 minus x. So in general, the angle is called x. The 90 minus x is the complement of the angle, and 180 minus x is the supplement of the angle. So important things include the word is means equals all the time. And if you see supplement and complement both in the same problem, this notation is so helpful. So let's read it left to right. The supplement of an angle is 25 more than twice the complement of the angle. You could also have the 25 over here if you prefer. But if we simplify this, we would get this. So x is 25. Now, the question didn't ask for this because this represents the angle. What it did ask for was the measure of the supplement. And the measure of the supplement of the angle is 180 minus 25, which is 155. So the answer, again, is D. One more. Angle 1 and angle 2 form a linear pair. The word line is within the word linear. So it means that you have a line and you have two angles that are on that line, one of which, angle 1, is 4x squared plus 6x plus 90, and the other angle is 2x squared plus 5x plus 93. These two angles are not equal to each other, but together they form a straight line, or together they form 180 degrees. So you can make this equation. 4x squared plus 6x plus 90 plus the other angle equals 180. So that's 6x squared, combining these, plus 11x plus 183 equals 180. Move the 180 to the other side because I notice that I have squared, which makes me think I'm going to factor. So we have 6x squared plus 11x plus 3 equals 0. So if I factor by grouping, I'm going to multiply a times c, and the reason I need to factor by grouping is we don't have a GCF, we don't have perfect squares, so we need to do split the middle term. Split the middle term. So we get 18. We write down the pairs of numbers that multiply to be 18. The one that combines to be 11 is 2 and 9, both positive. We can put them in either order. I will choose to do 9x plus 2x because I notice that we have the 9 and the 6 together. We bring down the 6x squared, we bring down the 3, and then we factor by grouping. So we would be 3x, 2x plus 3. Here, we only have a GCF of 1, so we take out a 1. You're also left with 2x plus 3 equals 0. Just for a moment, I'm going to erase this because we have the work here now. So if I bring that up here, my parentheses would be 3x plus 1 and 2x plus 3 equals 0. So if I set both equations separately equal to 0, I get x equals negative 1/3 and x equals negative 3/2. And that looks like the answer of B. But just to make sure, if I take these answers and I plug them back in to my angles, if you look at the angles, we have something that is quantity squared. If you plug in such little fractions that are negative, considering I'm adding such big numbers, both of these will create positive angles, so both of these angles will work. So my answer for 24 is B. I hope that this video was helpful. I'm writing split the middle again here in case you need that. So we practiced split the middle. We practiced supplement complement word problems, midpoint backwards, and a trisect problem, as well as quick problems. Thank you so much.